Hi, my name's Stefan Gusztak. I'm the chef at Park by Sidewalk Citizen in Central Memorial Park in Calgary. The restaurant has been in Central Memorial Park for roughly 5 years. We focus on using local ingredients in a Mediterranean type of style. So taking influence from anywhere from like Italy to even extent like North African cuisine to a little extent. Trying to focus on fresh local ingredients and essentially made from scratch as best we can. For our menu, some of the highlights that we have, for example, in our brunch menu is we like to do our own local in-house smoked meat using Alberta beef. We cure our beef for at least 2 weeks. You make our own Montreal steak spice. Use our sidewalk sourdough that comes from our sister restaurant, which is a bakery, and try and essentially just create everything that we can in-house to create something that's memorable for individuals. We like to do our own pita that is cooked to order. It ends up being fried, essentially kind of like a fried bread on a plancha with clarified butter, really good. We also like to focus on fermentation as best as we can, creating our own hot sauce, which is called chuma. We use lacto fermentation to get our peppers going, using fermentation for our labnas, our creme fraiche, and we also have a year-aged kombucha that we do in oak barrels. We bottle it in-house. Think of like an excessively small microbrewery, but with that we are able to kind of have something else that goes along the lines of fermentation. So fermentation for me was like a happy mistake, I guess you could say. It came from an area of wanting to be able to do things in-house and then realizing how the flavors change so extensively. With the kombucha, being able to ferment and carbonate your own beverage is a really cool experience. Being able to see the bubbles, knowing that there's some sort of active culture in there that's creating something completely different is really cool. It's almost like growing plants. And then of course, even when it comes down to our hot sauce, knowing exactly what's going in it, with our labna and with our creme fraiche, we can alter exactly how much lemon or how much of other ingredients that we're going into it to make it taste exactly how we want. Letting it sit in our fermentation chamber for 3 days will thicken it up more than if it's something that we purchase. So the fermentation process for us is more so about making the product that we want the way we want it, as opposed to just having a product that's given to us. So the dry age process, and with our lamb, we're in Alberta, and I'm actually from Winnipeg, Manitoba originally. And when I came to Alberta, I was expecting to get some really amazing beef. But what I didn't expect was to also have the best lamb I've ever tasted in my whole entire life. And that comes from Lambtastic Farms. The product they have is amazing, and I wouldn't say they're not well known, but to the extent to which they should be known, it's an amazing product. And so for me, coming to Alberta, seeing all of the beef programs, I kind of was like, well, I could do this, and I could probably do this better, but I would like to do it with lamb. And so taking that product, which is truly Albertan, and finding a way to produce a product that essentially just showcases the amazing product that we have in Alberta. And so for me, the reason why we went with the beeswax was the primals for the lamb. They're too small to dry age conventionally. Beeswax works almost like an eggshell. It's porous. It's also antibacterial. So it's one of those items where you can use it like again and again as long as you're pasteurizing it. And the principle behind the beeswax is it creates that outside coating that would normally come from dry flesh, allowing you to not only preserve it longer, but also impart flavor, remove moisture. And so after a little bit of research, it became apparent that that was kind of the step we wanted to take. I like to cook food for people that I would want for them to cook for me. That means that, like there's that classic saying, it's like, cook for your mom. You want to make it, you cook for your mom. But I mean, truthfully, I like myself more than my mom. So it becomes one of those things where it's like, I want to do it for me. And so whenever I put something on the plate, I use my own personal convictions to make sure everything that's going out is how I want it to be and how I would want it. And so that just kind of governs me to make sure that, I'm not fucking up for myself. Charcoal for me is the best way. Solid fuel is the best way to cook when you're grilling. the elements that come from it, just in regards to the overall flavor, the intensity of the heat, the smells and the aromas, you're never gonna find or be able to replicate using something else that charcoal brings. There's something also like borderline primal about it. It's very fun to cook with charcoal. It's better than turning a knob. You gotta get that fire going, you gotta get that heat going. It takes a little bit more work because you gotta manage your coals, but at the same time, you're rewarded in every sense of the way when you use charcoal. If you're, it's one thing to, flip a burger on a flat top, but you put that, when you're out in your backyard grilling, there's just elements of enjoyment as to why you're doing it. So yeah, so we're gonna be cooking the lamb platter today. It's one of our signature dishes. We call it the best by part because I think it's the best. What we'll be doing is we'll have 3 different cuts. We'll have lamb ribs, lamb sirloin, and lamb leg. All of them have been dry aged in beeswax. The leg has been dry aged for at least 3 weeks. It's larger so we can take it further. And we will be serving it with a garlic sauce, a red pepper jam, and some za'atar French fries. Each one of our cuts also has a different spice blend on it. So the ribs will have a merguez spice. The leg has a Berber spice, which is a great spice to go with lamb. And then we marinate our lamb sirloin in fig jam and adobo.
I'm so full. I'm not exaggerating when I say it was fucking incredible. The lamb over charcoal, the flavor that the dry age brings. I hate to be that guy, but I'm not like a lamb person, really. I don't like that gamey flavor. Those ribs, they were the sleeper hit. They had that lamb flavor, but in a really pleasant, clean way. All the work they put into preparing it just makes it absolutely perfect. It's phenomenal. If you're in Calgary, come check out Park. They're doing some really cool stuff, and the flavor is insane. I have to work now. I'm gonna try not to fall asleep at my desk. We'll see. It's probably not gonna happen.